It's round 2 between the Texans and Chiefs, Houston having the benefit of confidence because they won round 1, Kansas City benefiting from having a week off to rest. 6 different score predictions are ahead, but first, the numbers that will help you form a prediction of your own. First, let's quickly recap that Week 6 matchup between these two to see what from that game might still be relevant this game. The Texans won 31-24, though it was not due to Deshaun Watson's arm, rather his legs.
Watson circles, flag down. Watson has got the angle for the touchdown.
Watson rushed for 42 yards and 2 TDs. Carlos Hyde went for over 100 yards, and Duke Johnson averaged almost 7 yards a carry on his 5 runs in that game. And there really isn't a reason Houston wouldn't employ the same run-heavy attack this week for a number of reasons, starting with the fact they've run the ball really well all season.
Carlos Hyde is in.
Hyde had his first 1,000-yard season, and he, Johnson, and Watson all averaged over 4.4 yards a carry or better, so their rush attack has been a major strength for them offensively. And as most Chiefs fans are aware of, Kansas City's ability to stop the run is their Achilles heel.
Running play, big hole, Carlos Hyde, stiff arm.
Only 3 teams gave up more than Kansas City's 4.9 yards a carry, the Chiefs 26 in rushing yards allowed per game. In all 4 of the Chiefs' losses this year, it was a ball carrier who led the way. Hyde, Marlon Mack, and Derrick Henry all went over 100 yards against them in their respective wins against KC, Aaron Jones' abilities as a receiver aiding the Packers when they beat them. But while the Chiefs haven't been able to slow down opposing rush attacks, they have fared much better against passing attacks.
And downfield he goes, it's picked off by Matthew!
Look across their numbers and you'll see their pass defense fared really well. 5th lowest passer rating allowed, 4th lowest completion percentage allowed, tied for 8th fewest pass plays of 20-plus yards allowed. Now, one position group they didn't handle well, running backs. They gave up more receiving yards to backs than any other team in the NFL, and Duke Johnson was Houston's 3rd most targeted receiver, so look for him to factor big into the Texans' game plan. But on the other end of the spectrum, they gave up the fewest yards in the NFL to wide receivers. Charvarius Ward may be one of the best corners no one's heard of, his passer rating against a lowly 64.7. Being able to slow down wideouts clearly is relevant when you face the Texans, being they have a first-team All-Pro at that position.
Gonna take a shot downfield, and what an effort from Hopkins!
DeAndre Hopkins was shut out in the first half in their win over the Bills, but once he came alive in the second half, so did the Texans' offense. Houston's passing attack may not be quite as explosive as it has been in the past, but Watson still has been incredibly efficient, and as we saw against the Bills, is plenty capable of carrying the team with his arm when he needs to.
Watson, pressure off the edge. Watson survives it, and then checks down to Jones.
So while the Texans seemingly have a big advantage when they run the ball, it's a strength versus strength situation when they throw. That is not the case, however, when Patrick Mahomes takes the field, because the strength he brings to the table will be sitting across from a distinct Houston weakness.
Damian Williams busting through for a touchdown.
Mahomes didn't throw for 50 TDs this year, and KC's passing attack has slumped at times, but some of that was due to injuries. One of the key differences from this game and the last time they played, Sammy Watkins was missing, so Mahomes will have his full complement of toys to play with in the rematch. And having a full deck obviously makes it that much harder to try and stop KC's aces.
Got one-on-one down here for Kelsey, and he holds on!
Travis Kelce put up another monster year, and Tyreek Hill was as dangerous as ever, though he did miss some time with injuries. But Hill scored twice against Houston in that Week 6 loss, and the Texans will be hard-pressed to keep him out of the end zone this time around based on how their defense has fared against the pass. Not just ending the season tied for 27th in TD passes allowed, but ranking near the bottom in most defensive passing categories. They also haven't performed well on 3rd down, 2nd worst in the NFL, which represents a massive statistical mismatch, being the Chiefs have the number 1 3rd down offense in the league.
It is caught! Tyreek Hill! What a play! Touchdown!
The Chiefs have excelled at moving the chains partially because Mahomes has enjoyed really good pass protection. They tied for the 3rd fewest sacks allowed. On the season, the Texans offered little as far as a pass rush is concerned, but that's what happens when you spend half the year without J.J. Watt.
Pressure and taken down, and it is J.J. Watt.
Watt came up with a key sack in his return after missing 8 weeks with a torn pectoral muscle. The Texans got to Josh Allen 3 times total, a figure they'd be plenty happy with if they could replicate it against Mahomes. But no way around it. The Texans' D will be up against it, likely needing their offense to stay on the field as much as possible by grinding out long drives with its rush attack, a formula that worked the first time around. The Chiefs would like nothing more than to strike big early, forcing the Texans to try and play catch-up, which would play to the strength of its defense. So who do you got? Make sure to keep posting your predicted scores in the comments section on YouTube. Last week we saw a number of people come pretty close to getting the Texans-Bills score right on the nose. Will any of our panel nail the score this week? Here's a look at what they came up with.
First and 10, Damian Williams, blocked by Kelsey, blocked by Whitfield. Oh, and he spins 3! There he goes! It's a foot race! Perriman trying to get him. There he goes for 6!